So, again, I'm out here watching true crime videos or listening to true crime videos because I'm doing my fucking job. But I'm listening to details in the case of the Idaho 4 murders. And there's things that bother me. Again, that people haven't touched on. I mean, people have talked about some of the family stuff, like what's going on with the families, and people have talked about this, but something that people keep saying over and over and over and over and over, that if they were Brian Koberger and they knew they were innocent, they'd be screaming from the rooftops, right? Making all this noise, showing their ass. But then they compare him to Ted Bundy. There was a lot of comparison in the beginning of the case, at least, that I recall him being compared to Ted Bundy. So I don't know if anybody ever watched the Ted Bundy movie on Netflix, or if anybody's ever watched how he conducted himself during his indictment, leading up to his trial, or at his trial. I don't know if anybody ever paid attention to that. But this dude showed his ass daily. Made a lot of noise. Protested his innocence. Insulted the prosecution. Really fucking played up the PR. I mean, this dude was charismatic and made some of these fucking people look pretty stupid. Motherfucker is guilty of sin. So, just saying and making a bunch of noise about being innocent shouldn't influence what people think or not. I think that if you're involved in the criminal justice system and you're pulled into that system and you're on trial for anything, you just listen to your lawyers. That's always the best course of action, because there's people do it every day. Now, I'm not saying that if your lawyer tells you to take a plea on something you didn't do to do it, you've got to follow your own compass, because I absolutely would. Even if the prosecution had a circumstantial case and was willing to use bullshit evidence, and there was a risk of me being found guilty of something I didn't do, I would roll the fucking dice on the max sentence I could get to not make it easy for them. That's because I've had experiences in the past, and there was a time that I was involved in the justice system. There's been a couple of times, right? And there was a complaint warrant filed after a police investigation that the police couldn't arrest me for anything. But they held me long enough for the guy to get up and file a complaint warrant at the magistrate's office. What they did, I feel like, was shady as fuck, because police are shady as fuck. What they did is, I was not under arrest at all, but I was in the back of a cop car in handcuffs. Transported from my house in the back of the car in handcuffs. Held outside of the magistrate's office in the back of the car in handcuffs until the complainant was able to go up and file a complaint warrant so that the magistrate would issue said complaint warrant for my arrest, and then I was officially arrested after being handcuffed for 2 hours in the back of a cop car, maybe longer, at my house, transported from my house to the parking lot of the magistrate's office, and waiting for someone to pull in, walk in, file their complaint warrant, and finish up and come out. Then the warrant was issued. The police then told me I was under arrest, read me my rights, and they had been questioning me and grilling me in the back of the car the entire time we were sitting in my driveway. Then they finally read me my rights and told me I was under arrest. Walked me into the magistrate's office, allowed the warrant to be served, and then took me over to the jail. So that alone, I think, should have been able to get any competent lawyer should have looked at that and been like, that's fucked up. Because I feel like that's definitely a violation. I don't think that is typical procedure. But the police that responded knew the complainant. And it just is a long story, but man, this is insane. Like, I wish I could tell the whole story, and I probably could, but I don't want to. That's my shit, and I don't want to fucking delve into craziness, but it was fucking so ridiculous. Anyway, these people that fucking want him to scream he's innocent all the fucking time, they've obviously never been in the court system. And as far as the other shit goes, prosecution's willing to do whatever it takes to get you to plea and scare you into taking a plea, and that happened to me in that case. I was scared. I was threatened with something else that would have been with bullshit evidence obtained by the complainant from people that had already been interviewed by the police day of, that said one thing day of, and then after the guy that owned the property they lived in came by and asked them to fucking give him a statement, all of a sudden there was an affidavit. So I don't understand how a prosecutor would have even been willing to try to bring that into a courtroom to influence a case, because it seems to me like, and anybody else that would know, that if the guy that controls these people's living quarters comes to them and asks them to, hey, can you sign this affidavit, that might have a danger of being coerced or incentivized, especially if they had already given a statement to police the day of, and now their affidavit is different than what they had said previously. But I knew that the police wouldn't, if their body cams were off or whatever, they wouldn't share that they had interviewed the neighbors the day of, which they had. I watched them walk down there, and I watched them walk to the other one's house, and like, I saw it. I knew that they talked to him, and they told me that they talked to him. But if it wasn't recorded, I couldn't prove that. And the fact the prosecution was willing to use it to threaten me, I thought surely he could get it brought into court. And I even asked my lawyer, I was like, how would that even go over? How would that be admissible? Like, And my lawyer was just shady as fuck because he was a public pretender. And not all of them were fucking Ann Taylor, I'll tell you that. And he was just like, man, you know, I would advise blah, blah, blah. Well, it turns out in the great state or the county that I was in, and fuck, I don't even want to say that because the case has been over for years. It's been 7 years ago. But the county that is in, McDowell County, North Carolina, turns out that the way public defenders work in that county, and I don't know if it's that county or the entire state of North Carolina, but in that county, the way public defenders work is they have a rotation of the local defense attorneys that they call and assign cases to if the local defense attorney has time to take on the case. And if they don't, it goes to the next person in the Rolodex, right? Well, then, whether it be the state or the county, whoever's in charge of that shit, then they will pay said attorney a flat rate for these referrals, you know. They're not going to pay their full hourly bill, what the attorney would get if a client walked in off the street and said, hey, I want to retain you, blah, blah, blah. Their hourly rate, whatever, there's a flat rate from the state. So if you lose the case, you have to pay the lawyer. The lawyer tells the judge their hourly rate, and then you have to pay the full hourly rate instead of the same amount of money the state would have had to pay them. And that to me seems like it incentivizes lawyers not to win cases. Because if I'm getting paid more if the person's found guilty or takes a plea, I'm going to encourage that person to take a plea. Right? Isn't that... Anybody would do that? So not every public pretender is Ann Taylor. So don't always listen to your lawyer. If you're right, you're right. Don't take a plea if you're not guilty. You'll regret it forever. Not that it follows me, not that the charge affects me. It can't get expunged, but still, it's not taking away my right to vote or my right to carry a firearm or any of that shit. It's not a felony. But it's still fucked up. It's still... I feel like I did 18 months of fucking probation, and I got treated like a piece of shit by a fucking... the fucking most insanely overbearing and gung-ho fat little probation officer in the history of fat little probation officers. And she is just a fucking battle axe, dude. She is power trip personified. And that shit, I got through it, you know. It sucked, but I got through it, and I moved on with my life, and everything was pretty okay. It affects... the record affects your ability to find decent rental properties or decent accommodations because housing shortages and such, but still, that's not too horrible of a thing. The only horrible thing is the fact that you look back and you're like, man, I allowed them to knowingly threaten me with shoddy evidence, and I rolled over. And you'll never let that shit go. So, but I fucking got off on a tangent. These people are willing to do shoddy shit. And screaming you're innocent doesn't matter. Sometimes the most guilty people are the fucking loudest. What else was I listening to that I had a fucking thought on? Family members refusing to be interviewed by police and snatching a lawyer up immediately when their child's been murdered brutally is fucking weird to me. Got a 10-year-old son, and no matter what the fuck I was into or how something might make me look, if something happened to my son, I'd tell law enforcement everything that I know and then dare them to beat me to them. If I knew anything, like, I would tell them anything that I was into if I thought whether I thought it had fucking bearing on the case or not. And then I would dare them to figure out who it was before I could. I would fucking say, you better find them before I can. I'm not a tough guy. I'm not anything, man. But you hurt my fucking kid. If the people that refuse to interview with investigators and have been running their mouth everywhere that anybody will put a microphone in front of them, have any idea or any implication that they might know who really did the crime, and they're spending more time trying to make sure the patsy is railroaded than they are really fucking finding out who did it, or really fucking taking it to who did it. Like, the only reason that if something happened to my child I would ever mislead or deny speaking to an investigator would be to get to them first. It wouldn't be to go out and have a media campaign. It wouldn't be to run off at my fucking mouth. It would be to find the motherfucker first. That's the only reason I would not share information with them. And that's the only reason that any father that fucking has any kind of spine, and I might get killed in the fucking process. I'm not saying that I'm going to win. I'm not saying that I'm going to get there and fucking take care of business. I might fucking lose. But you know what? I'm going to make enough noise that they find them afterwards. And if you hurt my kid and I get to you and I'm able to catch you off guard and fucking do my thing, well, I'll sit there and wait for the cops to get there when I'm done. Because I don't give a fuck. And any father that says anything different than that, it isn't a good one. You know, in my opinion, our only job as a father is to protect our kids. Yeah, we're supposed to support them and teach them and raise them up and help them through difficult times in their life and give them lessons. But our primary objective, the thing that we were built to do, that's in our DNA, that is to protect our young, is to be that wall between them and any fucking predators in the world until they're old enough to fight for themselves. And then they have a family that they defend. That's it. That's our job. More so than mothers. And I'm not saying mothers aren't supposed to also protect their young, but they shouldn't be out there on the fucking front lines doing it. They should be supporting and nurturing and protecting in other ways, like they have. But if it comes down to it, and it's a mother having to stand between their child and an assailant, yeah, every fucking time, because it's their job too. Any father not willing to do that, that's not the definition, man. If somebody would hurt your kid and you had an idea of who it might be, and you sit on your fucking hands and you do nothing, not only do you do nothing, you don't share the information with the people that might be willing to do something, and then go on a crusade to convince people that, well, to fucking poison any jury pool against the person that's been accused of the crime, with the knowledge that you had information that your lawyer advised you to keep to yourself and not sit down with investigators because it might implicate you in a crime. That's fucking insane. That is the most selfish fucking thing in the entire world. And you know what? That's on them. But don't get out here acting like a fucking tough guy asking, who needs to be the alpha? Don't make me do it. I will do it. Well, you're not fucking doing it, bro. I'm not going to say any names because, well, you got to be careful with that kind of shit, right? I'm not slandering anybody. I'm just watching the actions of a person and wondering how they fucking sleep at night. I'm not a true crime guy. I've been following this one case. It's not something that I'm really into. I'm not an investigator. I ride fucking motorcycles, man. I make videos in the mountains on my bike, and fucking the only reason I've not been making those is because somebody fucking ran me over and drove away like a month ago, and my bike needs a few repairs, and I still am not 100%. I think that is the closest I've ever been conscious for that I've ever been to death. I think I was closer earlier in the summer. Some shit happened. That doesn't matter. But, man, I lost so much blood, internally and externally. I broke 4 ribs twice, fractured 3 vertebrae, ruptured my spleen, bruised my liver. It was a challenge, dude. It hurt. It's the only time I've been put down, with an injury that I wasn't able to get to my feet, and that's a hard pill to swallow. But the person drove away after rear-ended me. They didn't technically run me over. They rear-ended me, my bike went out of control, and I high-sided it, fucking slammed me, and ran my leg over, and kept sliding, and then the person drove away. So after they drove away, that forced me to crawl about 10 feet to my cell phone. It wasn't horrible, but it was horrible. When you're hurt that bad and you've got breaking ribs is like the weirdest. Broken ribs were the weirdest sensation I've ever had. And I don't know if it was because there were multiple broken ribs or what it was, but it felt like everything on that side of my body was fucking, there was zero support, nothing. And it was just, I can't explain how what's the word I'm looking for? It was just very hard to crawl back to the motor. That's where my phone was. My phone was on a phone mount on my motorcycle, and the only way that I was gonna get out of there is to fucking call 911 for myself. And it was 4 o'clock in the morning. I didn't have the lung capacity to scream for help, and it was 4 o'clock in the morning, and the closest house was still pretty far away. The odds of them hearing me and understanding what they were hearing at 4 o'clock in the fucking morning were slim. So I think that it's a rare. Yeah, I'm not getting off on another tangent, but that's my shit. I shoot guns, and I ride motorcycles, and I'm trying to fucking build a channel around that shit. But this case I've followed since it started, and since the very beginning, the official story didn't make sense. That one assailant went in that house and killed 4 people with a knife. It never made sense to me. There's ways that it could happen, but once the details started coming out, how 2 victims were in each room, and it didn't seem plausible that somebody gets in and out of there like that. But so it's been intriguing since the beginning. I started with JBGunner. That's who I initially started following the case with, listening to him, and I still tune in there every once in a while. But JB's a crass motherfucker, dude. He's kind of a prick. We're good. I've actually called in and we fucking discussed this shit back in the very beginning. But fucking anybody can be. I'm fucking pretty difficult too. And we had a disagreement on some shit, and I was like, fuck you. He's like, fuck you. It is what it is. I like JB, but I think we're pretty fucking similar, and the fact that we're pretty fucking similar, you take 2 stubborn motherfuckers with differing opinions, and one of them's a smart ass and says some shit that fucking, one says some shit, goes back and forth, and JB's still fucking great at what he does, man. And a lot of that is fucking causing controversy and pissing people off. So he's pretty fucking good at that, but he's also good at fucking shooting straight, man. He's gonna tell you the legal system, they'll fuck you. The man's been involved in the legal system. He understands it pretty fucking well. And they will show up and they will fuck your day up for no reason. Harsh reality. Very analytical dude. To be a citizen of the country that we fucking fought for our constitutional rights and love our Constitution enough to be like, you know what? No matter what you believe, he doesn't care much for theorizing. He does a little bit. He talks about some what he thinks of what he's heard, but he doesn't go deep dive research and shit like that. Truth and Transparency, great fucking channel. I tuned into them too, and that is what led me to yeah, he knows his fucking name. Fuck, I'll tag him, man. I can't pronounce it, and I can't remember exactly how it's pronounced. But this dude deep dives documents, man, and he fucking picks apart everything. I don't know where he even finds all this shit. That's the level of thoroughness that he puts into his investigation and theories. That's fucking pretty solid, man. It's unbeatable. And these guys all together, man, they've done an awesome job. An awesome job. Just getting information out there, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of guys a lot of fucking channels out there that are just blindly trusting of flawed humans because they're in a position of authority. And that's a dangerous thing. And it's a dangerous thing to try to convince people to do. Everybody should question and challenge authority. Not in a belligerent way. Maybe sometimes, because JB, when he does it, is fucking awesome. And he's pretty belligerent fucking dude. That's one of the fucking draws to JB, is just to hear somebody be like, real 100% of the time. You know, some of the shit, like, I'm like, man, that's in poor taste. Like, I would have not said that. But it doesn't make it less true. Like, just because I wouldn't have said, like, damn, I'd have smashed about a fucking victim of fucking murder. Like, just because I wouldn't have said it publicly doesn't mean that, like, I wouldn't have smashed. Like, I'm just fucking less of a dick, I guess. Like, so some of that shit, it's like, but you've got to fucking be able to appreciate it, man. Because the dude is going to be 100% him 100% of the fucking time. And that's got to be respected. You know, some people fucking try to bend to their fans, and like my only complaint about Harsh is he ever let anybody's criticism almost change the way he conducted himself. Like, he almost watered himself down for a little while because people were like, oh, why do you should curse less or whatever. And eventually he got to the point where he was like, fuck that, and he does whatever he wants to do now. And like, so I understand that this is a business for some people, and fans and likes and subscriptions, that drives revenue. So I get it, man. But real recognizes real, and that respect is going to come, and real people are going to follow you and appreciate what you do if you're yourself 100% of the time. Pavarotti, that's the dude's name. Sorry. Just came to me, Pavarotti. But I'm going to fucking tag all these guys, and maybe, like, I'm going to try to figure out how to link videos in the description. I don't know how any of this shit works. 100% honest. I've gotten into video editing a little bit, but that shit is on my computer. My computer's not here because I'm at work, and I'm in my vehicle at work doing work things. So I'm not in a position to fucking put any cool thumbnails, and I don't even know how to do a fucking thumbnail, but to do any fucking cool intros or fucking tag videos in the description. I don't know how it works, man. I'm fucking just starting fucking with this YouTube thing. I've got 4 videos on my channel. I'm not there yet, so give me a minute. I'll figure it out eventually. And anybody with fucking tips out there, any of you guys that I fucking tag or whatnot, like, anybody with tips, feel free to shoot me a fucking email. However you can do email on this motherfucker, because I don't know if it's attached to my account. Like, I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about Harsh. Truth and transparency, man. I'd watch a lot more of your videos if you were a little bit less winded and more long-winded and more to the point. Like, I'm waiting, and you're like, oh shit, like, and then you take 15 minutes to bring it out. Doesn't change the level of, or the effort that you put in. Like, fucking the amount of documents you get, the FOIA requests, the fucking body cam footage, the shit that you do, that's insane. And it's it's so commendable. It is amazing the amount of things you can force them to turn over to you, and the time you have to put into that. I fucking commend that all day long. But sometimes I've got to I disconnect for a minute. And it's not a bad thing. You know, sometimes it takes a long time to convey what you're trying to get across. And I understand getting like fucking getting excited and trying to pump people up for what you're about to give them. I get it. There's a lot of this is entertainment, right? You gotta do both. You've got to share the information and also entertain. I understand completely, but I appreciate what they do as well. Pavarotti, man, like Truth and Transparency led me to that fucking to your channel, and bro, apparently this isn't your fucking forte either. You're new to this, but the information that you drop, the fucking legwork you do to go through all this shit, because I just don't have, like, I say I don't have the time. I don't make the time to do a lot of this shit. But, like, some of it I wouldn't know how to do if I was, and I just wouldn't know how to do it. I wouldn't know how to file a FOIA request. I wouldn't know how to do any of the shit. Like, and I wouldn't make the time to find these documents, no less read all of them. Like, fucking, so I appreciate everything all of you guys do, man. The amount of information that every one of the people that I've mentioned put out, and they're all pretty fucking unbiased. Like, they don't they're pretty unbiased. They believe in innocent until proven guilty, and that's what gives me the most respect for all these people. Because I think that without creators that are willing to not just accept the official story and to run with that and never consider or look into any alternate theory, just, they've got a suspect, that motherfucker did it. And there's plenty of those, and I'm not going to mention a fucking one of them, because I wouldn't, and I'm not going to tag any of them, because I wouldn't want anybody ever that watches my shit to be like, oh, I'm going to go check out their shit to see what he's talking about, because I don't want them to have a fucking single view, because they're fucking full of shit. And if you don't believe in innocent until proven guilty, fuck you. You know, the creators that I've mentioned in this fucking video, that I'm tagging in this fucking video, they advocate for innocent until proven guilty, even at times when they've questioned whether their theory changed, whether how they feel about the case may have changed from time to time, because information that they're getting or the way that something's perceived, and they might even say, man, I'm not sure anymore, but I'm going to err on the side of not guilty, because it's not about, because they want a fair trial, man. They all believe in the same shit that I believe in. They believe in a fair trial for this dude. And even if he's guilty of sin, nobody should go sit down in that jury box with the preconception that he's guilty, or that law enforcement are incapable and infallible, just not able to to plant evidence, or to mishandle evidence, to steer an investigation toward a suspect so they can close a case. For anybody going in with the notion that the prosecution wouldn't put on a prosecution if they didn't believe what they're saying, get the fuck out of here, man. They're there to win. Police exist to close cases. Like, That's it. They're not there just fucking these straight-laced guys that are arbiters for justice. They're people that have a boss that they answer to. And he's saying, get it done. If you don't get it done, you don't have a job. They're gonna fucking do what they have to. Because they're human. Right, wrong, or indifferent, all humans are flawed. We're all fucking flawed people. And we can all do shitty things to protect ourselves. So, sending jurors in there believing anything different is ridiculous. Judges, some of the shit in this case bothers me with the judges, man. They should be as impartial as possible. And it's just a reality that a lot of times judges lean toward the state, like, not on purpose. I don't believe that they purposely have a bias, but I think a lot of judges don't want to believe that investigators and prosecutors don't have the best intentions. And I think in that train of thought, that them not wanting to believe that these people could have not or have impure intentions, have intentions that contradict with justice when they work together, you know? Like, to believe that is insane. It's just like how it's hard for bad cops to be held accountable in a bad shooting. It's real hard. It's real hard, because I've watched people walk on some shit that they shouldn't be, because the courts and juries always err on the side of trusting these people that we asked to do this very hard job and believing that they had the best intentions. I don't believe that's always the case. And even with good intentions, I have examples, but it would be a lot to go into. Even with good intentions, you can make mistakes. And I don't know, man. Not being held accountable for things like that seems insane to me. I've watched cops shoot people who had no way of ever causing them harm in the position that they were in, and never even see a firearm. And I was in a country not many years ago where I had to be actively getting shot at, actively taking fire before we were allowed to return fire. So think about that for a second. We will ask Marines, soldiers, sailors, I'm not going to say the Air Force because they just kind of hang out. There's not a lot of them getting in gunfights. We will ask these guys to go outside the wire, to patrol or to convoy, and to do work. And then tell them they have to get shot at before they can return fire. And then let them come home and get shot by an overzealous fucking cop that never even saw a firearm. That's pretty fucking wild to me. And then say, oh, the cop feared for his life. It's okay. But then the same military guys that are over there in the middle of a fucking ambush, and a shot gets misplaced and there's collateral damage, we will nail that motherfucker to the wall. We will send him to the brig, and nobody bats a fucking eye over that. Nobody comes to his defense. I think that's bullshit. A personal experience, I served brig time with a gentleman who shot an Iraqi police officer, and his Humvee had just been blown up. The vehicle commander had been killed. He was injured, and they were taking fire. And as he exited the vehicle, fog of war, he saw an AK and a black ski mask. Fucking put him down. What would you have done? Man is serving a fucking sentence. Probably still sitting in the brig at Camp Lejeune today. What would you have done? But then police can respond to a homeless man camping in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The guy has knives in his hand because he's homeless, and there's a disproportionate amount of mental illness in the homeless community. It's just the way that it is. You don't become homeless because you're okay, because you don't have a problem somewhere. And then he has two knives in his hand. They have some standoff. It's not like they're within the 21 feet, right? There's some distance there. And these motherfuckers open up on him with ARs. After they fucking put him on the ground, they start shooting him with non-lethal beanbag rounds. That was an option the entire time. And instead of the one guy having the shotgun at the ready and using the fucking beanbag round to knock this motherfucker on his ass, the entire fucking group dumps AR rounds on the motherfucker and then yells at him from a distance and starts shooting him with beanbag rounds. I would at least let this dude fucking try it first. Like, hey man, this is something you discuss before you go up the hill. Hey, like, if shit gets wild, pump a couple of those fucking beanbags in that motherfucker's chest. And if that don't work, we got you, dog. We'll kill his ass. That's how that shit should have been done. That was an option the whole time. None of those guys even faced charges at all. And I'm not going to get into no more of it, but these guys aren't perfect, man. And they're rarely held accountable when they do fuck up. They're always given the benefit of a doubt that civilians are not. Like, if I got arrested today, I would not get the same level of doubt we give police officers. If somebody came up on me on my job and I had to fucking put rounds down range, you bet your ass I'd better have done it fucking textbook. So I'll go to prison. I don't get their fucking the same immunity clause that they get. If I didn't fucking dot my T's and cross my I's, I'm fucked. So, and even a civilian that defends themselves, you're fucked. 100% the court is going to nail you to the wall. I drew a pistol on a man who put his hand in his pocket and came toward my family fucking with an aggressive posture. I drew my pistol. I did not shoot that man, but I drew my pistol. I went to jail that night. Cops would have shot him dead for the same exact thing. And everybody in the world would have fucking come to their defense, even if it was a fucking lighter in his pocket. His keys. They have no... But the same cops that would have shot him fucking dead for the same exact thing told me, because I did not see a weapon, because I never saw a weapon, I was wrong. Explain that to me. Why there's a different standard? What gives them the right to shoot somebody that they don't know for a fact has a weapon, but I can't even draw to protect my family when somebody is implying that they have a weapon? Now, during that entire thing, the cops never searched the other person to see if they did have a weapon, because the other person's the one that called the cops. Didn't search their vehicle, didn't pat them down, because they knew each other. And I was charged with assault by pointing a weapon. And affidavits collected by the landlord in the area, the guy that the confrontation happened with, from his tenants after the fact, were leveraged by the prosecution to threaten me that they were going to up the charges to attempted murder, because the man was saying I fired a shot at him. There wasn't a hole anywhere. There wasn't a spent casing. I begged them to do GSR testing on my hands in the back of the cop car, and nobody would. Cops interviewed the neighbors. Nobody heard a shot. But then the landlord went around and interviewed his tenants and got signed affidavits from people that he could give a month off rent to, or that he could evict for no fucking reason. And then the fucking courts were willing to use it. Yeah, the system is questionable at best, if not completely so far gone that it's incorrectable. So no, law enforcement, police, judges, prosecutors, these fucking people are not above reproach. It's just, stop thinking that shit. And these guys, they're fucking real good at questioning everything. So watch them. Watch all their fucking videos. Learn about this fucking case and see how fucked up law enforcement is. These fucking people are awesome. And there's other cases that they fucking cover too, and they do fucking great work on that. I just don't give a shit. I don't follow those cases. They don't matter. They never caught my attention because I'm not a true crime guy. Nothing against any of these guys. These creators are awesome. They do a lot of work. And if true crime's your thing, this is the place to fucking go. These 4 guys. You got JBGunner. You got fucking Harsh Reality, Truth and Transparency, Truth and Transparency, and Pavarotti. Fuck, I cannot fucking keep that straight. Get a normal name, dude. Just fucking with you. Appreciate you guys if you actually watch this shit. Sorry for tagging you in some dumb shit, but I'm singing your praises, so maybe if I ever get a following, which it's doubtful because fuck, man, town's trashed. We just went through Helene, and riding is kind of fucked up right now, so, but you know, I'm just fucking shouting y'all out because you're fucking awesome at what you do. And some of the fucking people that follow you religiously and watch your shit are slightly fucking retarded, like in the nicest way possible, because they will listen to you do an entire video, listen to you present the shit, and then still question everything. And that's the dumbest shit I've ever seen. some of these people. So I've commented on a lot of y'all's stuff, talking to people that just, they're fucking thick. And I don't know how you guys do it. Every fucking day, listening to the, like, seeing these, maybe you don't read the comments. I don't know. But I will pause the video at the very end to scroll comments to see how stupid people are and try to fucking push them right over the edge there. Because sometimes they're not fucking picking up what you're putting down. And I don't understand how. Because JB is the realest motherfucker I've ever seen on YouTube. Like, just fucking 100%, no holds barred, don't give a fuck, is who he is. Harsh breaks the shit down that the way he understands it, and fucking puts forth the innocent until proven guilty shit, and shows you, like, how fucked up this prosecution is and how questionable thing is. And he doesn't, like, deep dive, but he asks fucking, he wants people to ask hard questions, and that's fucking amazing. Truth and Transparency, they pull all the information surrounding something, and they're like, this doesn't make sense. Like, how are they fucking saying this when this? They get everything, and they're fucking awesome. Like that. And Pavarotti, dude, might be the hardest working fucking guy on YouTube. I don't know where you find the time or the energy, but I hope Brian appreciates everything you're doing for him, all of you guys. And I hope maybe when this whole fucking thing is over, he gives y'all, all four of y'all, he sits down and gives y'all exclusive fucking interviews. Because, and I hope he thanks you guys. Sends y'all a fucking care package or something. Because you guys have, I don't want to say been in his corner, but y'all have been almost the sole Congress of people that have been screaming for people to pump the fucking brakes and pay attention, because innocent until proven guilty is a thing. And you guys have fucking pushed that and screamed that, and really, you've changed people's opinion of the criminal justice system, and a lot of people needed that. Because the only way we're going to fix it is if people understand how broken it is. And a lot of times, people don't find out how fucked up this system is until they're slap dab in the middle of it. And then it's too late. You know? So thank you guys. That's, the work you do is important. I know it's just, you're creators making content and making money, but you're also crusaders. You're true arbiters of justice, in my opinion. No matter what gains you get from it, or it doesn't matter if it's just entertainment for you, if it's just fun for you, which JB's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, this is just fun for me. It's not even one of my biggest channels. It's something he says all the time. You know, I don't care if it's just fun for you, dude. I'm glad it is, but you're making a difference in the fucking world we live in, because you're waking people up to the fucked up system that they have to live under and potentially deal with if they ever find themselves in this position, if they ever find themselves on a jury. You guys can change people's fucking perception of this thing enough that you can save people's lives by potential jurors questioning everything. And that's what jurors are supposed to do. You have to convince them beyond a reasonable doubt. And you're reminding people of that. That's fucking huge and commendable. Thank you. So anybody out there that watches my shit, unless it's just the 4 people that I fucking tag, that get a chance to watch it. Anybody else that watches it, check these fucking guys out. They're awesome. I'm going to shut up and go back to fucking making motorcycle videos and leave true crime to the fucking professionals. Anyway, motorcycles and guns. That's what I do from now on. No more of this shit. Maybe politics. I got a thing that I want to say about politics later, which I might fucking vent that shit out because I voted today.